when I orient from wholeness and I hold Forrest and Deborah and Emma in wholeness, I'm really drawn to Forrest's like uh legs and low back. And it's like I see uh yeah, it looks to me like he's like drowning a little bit. But the funny thing is it's like it's not necessarily drowning in a bad way. It's more like um I don't know, being in the ocean of isness. And it's like I feel like that ocean is just creating through Forest through this one local point in the non-local field. It's like here's just this human that potential and light can meet in and create things. And I keep getting these images of you, like I see you all in like the future in air quotes, and I see the way that you walk. I see the clothes that you're wearing. I see the way that I see your posture. I see your energy, your nobility, like the look in your eyes. It's just like so profound to have the eyes of wholeness and the eyes of knowing looking through your eyes back at me. And I feel you all so profoundly, like heart wide open, so powerful, so powerful. And I can see the eyes of knowing looking through your eyes. Like I can see knowing itself looking through your eyes. There are very few, if any, people more powerful on the planet than the two women I'm looking at in this movie scene, this video that I'm being shown right now. I have in this moment, in this scene, being here with you all, I have the feeling that we are responsible for, or like the stewards of millions of people. Like we are like I don't know what word to use, sacred elders or embodied examples or guardians or shepherds. I'm not sure. There's like a word here, but it's the kind of leaders that when you walk into a room, you don't question who the leader is. It's not a leader because of your title. It's not a leader because you say you're a leader. It's not a leader because of some shit like that. It's because at an unconscious level, as things start to go wrong, people look in your direction. It's that kind of leadership. It's not posture. It's not like a facade. It's just when people don't know what to do and they need support, they just unconsciously look towards you and go like, hey, what needs to happen here? So for light and action, what matters to me is that we embody this together, that we be the invitation and be embodied examples of what we're inviting people into. Because this is what we're supporting with people becoming this. And the most important thing is us being it and transmitting it in our own life, in relationship with each other, and in the work that we're doing together. And I'm incredibly present to how this is already here now.
I'm in tears. I thought you would see it, but it doesn't look visible at all. I feel like I'm in tears. Yeah. It's really beautiful and just really moving to hear that. I feel really seen, and a combination of like peace. Like I'm landing more into myself. And then a sense of bigness and some sadness as well. Like halfway when you were speaking, I actually started to look out of the window and just feels like I'd say the field got bigger, but it already is, of course. More like feeling interconnectedness and being aware of other people here in the city, other countries, just feeling really moved by that. And I also got a few really down to earth things when you said, like, oh, we need to embody this. It was like, oh, this thing and that thing and that thing in my life. It's like a little to do list where it's like, yeah, I've been doing that quite well. And also, like, there is not where I'm fully showing up yet. And that's important. And
I feel like
uh,
no, you finish.
I'm present with a deep sense of meaning, which is really moving. Not that I was without meaning, but now I feel very, very full with it. And it's kind of like it's feels like it's permeating my whole being and my whole life. Like, oh, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm being. That's what I'm breathing. Feels like you reminded me. I'm gonna pause here, Emma, so.
Yeah, I'm still with this part of like n- like seeing knowing in our eyes. I don't know, that somehow really easily connects me to already here. Yes. Like, yeah. And I don't know, like what you spoke to is in a way, it's so evident in my being that it's like not in the exact words you use, but something's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I'm super happy you recorded it because there is like, I would like to do this as a meditation sometimes, like sinking into it. Yeah. Also your transmission on speaking from that place. And I would love for Light and Action to be that. Yeah.
Okay. Can I share some more?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Um, so right now we've got the Australia gathering. I don't know if you two know this, but our emerging future has a building in Sydney, Australia now.
Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
We have literally a fucking building in downtown Sydney in the central
Ooh.
business district. So we have Australia doing 150 person gathering in Australia, doing a 2 month incubator, doing a practitioner training for 20 people. Yesterday, I gave Linus and Diego the Light in Action or Architects and Facilitators Training Level 1 training yesterday, and I absolutely fucking loved it. It was awesome. I'm very proud of it, and it was very easy and very simple and very fucking profound. We have another group here. There's a group of people coming into the hub in Medellin. They just got here a couple hours ago. And so we're setting up this thing with like multiple tripods and cameras so I can train these people. And I'm gonna give them the training for free, but we're gonna record me doing all of it so we can put it together in online modules. And people can take like the level 1 foundations training online. So there's that stuff happening in Australia. I recorded the podcast with Sarah McCrum the other night, and out of that, we decided to host an event together in Europe this summer with 150 or 200 people on the well-being economy. So Emma's in relationship with Sarah's team, and together we're gonna put together an event that's gonna be kind of like the staple event in Europe this summer. And at some point this year, there's going to be another event, which is called the Shadow Symposium, Shadow Work Symposium. And I'm not sure if that's going to be in Europe this summer, in Australia this fall, or somewhere in South America after all of it. And there needs to be some kind of team that emerges around putting that together because that's what works. I'm in the process of launching the Well-Being Economy, which is a subscription program that people can enroll in and have access to 2 calls per month and modules that are released every week. And I haven't had a chance to tell you all this, but this is huge news. I've been talking to this woman who has been a nurse for many, many years, and what she and I have decided to do is create a well-being program that supports patients, and then one for doctors and nurses to be able to access more well-being and more of their inner resources on just a weekly phone call and a subscription. And she met with the hospital last week, and they said that they will put that offering. Like I have to get all this, I get to build all this digital infrastructure out and launch it in the next weeks. But once we do that, they're gonna put like Light in Action Well-Being Program on the piece of paper that's given to every single patient that's discharged from the hospital. Every single one. That's like hundreds of thousands of people per year that are gonna get a piece of paper that says Light in Action Well-Being Program, like linked to the website on their discharge form. And if it goes well, they're a part of a network of like 33 hospitals. So you're talking about literally tens of millions of people. They could be potentially getting a piece of paper saying Light in Action Wellbeing Program. And so I'm looking at the emergence of like these doorways opening and these escalators in consciousness being built to like, people don't know about us. They join our program and community at like a monthly subscription. Then they're like, wow, this is incredible. And they want to come to an in-person gathering, or they want to do Light in Action. And then they're like, I can't believe the results and the transformation that people have from this. How do I support people in this way? And then they do the architects and facilitators training, and they go through the levels of depth in that. And just like watching people move through those escalators in consciousness, and like how we're setting up all of these doorways that people can walk through, and the different levels that people are playing at. And there's something over here that's just like, come on, y'all. Like, we got this. Like, we got this. We can do this. Please help me. Like, if this shit actually happens, it will be the most beautiful thing that's ever happened. Like, ever. Well, maybe. But yeah. And I'm like, when I look at you two, I see you two as like critical players in this. Like, it's not like I'm sharing this with you because I feel like we're holding the big, big unfolding. And that doesn't mean, well, whatever. Like, I want you all to be a part of this with me. That's what the fuck I have to say.
Huge celebration for the well-being program for hospitals.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Really big. Yeah.
And when you say we're holding this together and I want you all to be a part of this, I get curious if you have more concretely, like you set up, like, I want to set up digital infrastructure for the well-being program, and if you need help with that, or there's more concrete.
Yeah, it's like I think the thing like what I'm wanting is to have people around me and you like you two being people around me and like also more who are like so plugged into this that it's like we're really doing this together. And I imagine people coming to me and being like, hey, Forrest, what's needed? Like that initiative, or like, you know, opening to the field and saying what's needed and being in a relationship with me about it, like both, hey, Forrest, what's needed? Hey, field, what's needed? And having that like proactive, like I'm gonna like this kind of gesture of like proactive, like on by your own volitionness, if that makes sense.
No, what does that word mean? By your own what?
Like it's like let's say for example, on the other side, like on the other side of the extreme, it would be like Deborah and Emma and other people are sort of like sitting around waiting on Forrest to say what needs to happen. That
Right.
would be the other end
I
of the
understand.
extreme.
Yeah, I understand. You can say more, but I don't need more.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Cool.
I feel like something just got really activated in you, Deborah.
There's also someone making noise in my house. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like someone's, I don't know what they're doing. No. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Something clicked.
Also, I don't know if I've had a chance to tell you this, but the hub this weekend, the hub, like we did it. We did it. We like landed as a team. We hit the ground of well-being together.
That's fantastic.
Like
Congratulations.
I keep saying this line of now I know I can do what I knew I could do. Like I knew we could do this as a group, and now I know we can do this as a group.
I really love the invitation to be even more side by side, or I don't know, something also impacted me right now, like holding it together the way you envision it. Yeah.
That line brought tears to my eyes. Now I know I can do what I knew we could do.
Oh, and Alexander Love has said that he is a yes to being a guest facilitator for Light in Action, and he's a yes to coming to some of our team calls and being a part of this, what's happening right now with us.
It's fantastic.
Damn, that was a lot of good fucking news in one goddamn long sentence.
I feel like I wanna recreate our Slack channel and like make all these that you just said in like
Mm,
that
Go
we can
for it.
start like
that would be
speaking
great.
in channels.
I'm gonna have to kick everybody else out. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think I can do that. Maybe you, but anyway, I'll just
I like kicking people out if needed, but I don't think I can.
I don't know if I'm
Oh, I gotta
authorized.
give y'all, yeah, I gotta give y'all another code. I have had several situations in these last days. Like I'll just give you one. I was walking down the street the other day and this man walked up to me and like slapped his hand on my shoulder like this. And I looked at him and I was like, what in the fuck do you think you're doing? Literally. I was like, no. I literally just looked at him, I was like, no. And he was like, oh, bro, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have my son, like, will you give me money? And I'm like, no. And then he's like, oh, well, like, we're going over here, will you buy us food? And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, I'm going over here. And he's like, oh, we'll go over here with you and get us food. And I looked at him dead in the fucking eye and I was like, no, like, no. And he was just like, oh, shit. But it was like in that moment I had this like thing click in, which is like we got to learn how to say no on the deepest level. Like it is not tolerating. And like the guys here, Diego and Linus, they keep talking about like the standard. They're like, you hold this standard for us in terms of the way that we conduct ourselves that's so high. And like you don't tolerate anything less than that. And that's what they appreciate the most about living with me. And I just want to say that because it's kind of contradictory to the like inclusive, welcoming, loving energy that I feel like we're taught in therapy and whatever. And so I'm like, I'm sort of reckoning that inside myself of like holding
What
unconditional.
does what does reckoning mean?
Like the basically, I'm like, if there's a split in me, it's like there's a part of me that loves and welcomes everything, and there's a part of me that's like, no, like not up in here. Like we got standards, we got boundaries. This is not okay. And like both of those. And Diego's telling me my capacity for both is just increasing. He's like, you feel more loving, more open, more spacious, and also more firm, direct, and unavailable than ever.
And I'm
I ima-
imagining that supports your sense of aliveness. Were you speaking at the same time, Emma?
yeah. I wanted to say I imagine they reinforce each other also. Like the more the boundaries there, the more the love can be there. Like it's like I love this, the standard and learning to speak no at our deepest level.
Yeah. By the way, whatever I think what I don't know what you all would call these, like illuminations or activations or something, but like I want to highlight these more in our tasters. Like what I'm doing right now, it's like I'm living my life and these are the things that are happening and it's what's evoking in me and like teaching that with transmission, embodied transmission. I want to like include that in a taster and talk about it as part of our program because we're going to be doing that.
I get the word transmissions, but I don't know if it feels important that it's the right word for you. How would you call it?
Yeah, transmissions are great. I like transmissions, I like illuminations, I like activations.
Mhm. Mm.
All right, I've been sharing a lot of shit today. What's happening over there?
Yeah, I feel really like there's a new thing. Like, I feel like you've never, maybe you did, but maybe I just never saw it, invited me in like this. But there's something like, I mean, I was all in, but more like on specific things. And now it's like, I feel like this invitation to step. Yeah, I don't know why, but there's something like this happening for me. Feels very alive, very exciting, inspiration. And as I say it, I notice also our call yesterday impacted it Forest. I think there's just more, I'm more in my leadership also. Yeah.
What shifted in the call yesterday for you?
I feel like it's still happening, but there was this start of releasing beliefs around I'm inadequate. And I can't. And so I still feel like there's space. There's more space free, and it's getting more and more like it's still moving. So now it's like, yeah, of course I can do this. Like there's space for that suddenly. And like, okay, what do I want to be doing? Yeah. Where are you, Deborah?
Yeah, I feel really moved, like close to tears. It's not really in a grief way, but more like something feels so important and alive and palpable and so close to my heart. And um, and I can relate to what you're saying, Emma. Like there's something in the transmission or what you just shared for us that I haven't, like there's a quality I haven't tasted before. I did feel invited fully in before, and there's something new I feel like I'm landing in, or maybe we are landing in. Um, feels quite big. I find myself kind of naturally, yeah, connecting to a bigger field, going from like my roommates, my work, Israel. It's kind of like, kind of like a connecting. And I think that's part of what moves me. It's like, oh, if it's possible here, then it's possible there.
Mhm.
I think that's part of what moves me to tears. I have some really practical things for myself that I made a few notes of. Maybe not the right moment to connect on those. And there's an interesting energetic movement, like where, and we talked a bit about this in our call when we were talking without Emma, for us, like I feel so drawn in, where I'm like, oh, I want to be a part of this fully. And then I'm like, oh, wait, there's something in that movement forward, which feels like I could be losing my center a little bit. So I'm like, I want to be fully in while being deeply centered and grounded in myself. So I'm also practicing. It's almost like if I lean back into my own body, I can actually be more in and feel what my authentic responses, what the movements are that are authentically mine, what my contribution is, what are my moves to make. It feels like I need to kind of really stay here. one of the things I wrote like for myself personally is like, what is my place in this? With a question mark, as like an open question for exploration, or an invitation for myself to take my place and to feel into it. Which, as I speak, I imagine it's not like a thing that happens in one moment, but an ongoing exploration. Like what you say for is like, oh, it's the opposite. I forgot the word, but it's the opposite of you telling people what to do. And that's what I'm with. Like it's almost like a moment to moment sensing into like, oh, what's being asked of me? What's my next step in this, which is completely right, both for me and for the project and for the bigger picture. So that's what's opening in me in a deeper way.
Yeah, and it's like this practice we're doing of opening up to knowing and asking what's needed here. It can be done in any context, in any relationship, in any moment, in any dynamic. It's very, it's very important to me. I got this very deep download from Source, very deep, that this practice of opening up to wholeness and opening up to knowing and asking what's needed, that we will not fucking prostitute this practice. Like, we're not going to go tell people, hey, for $4.99, we'll tell you how to open up to the field and access knowing. It's like, no. This practice that we're doing together of opening up to the knowing and asking what's needed is for us in support of the service that we're doing in the world. And we're going to be paid incredibly well for that. But we're not going to like whore out this practice and bastardize it and make money. And like that just came in so profoundly this weekend. So I feel
In those words from Source.
yeah, it literally. It's like, do not prostitute this. That was the fucking language. It was like, do not prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. He knows your language. She, they.
This is here in service of the work that we're doing, which is sacred, and we will be paid very well for that. But we don't do this shit to make money. We do this shit because we do it. And we're in service to people. And for that, we are paid tremendously well.
Feel very moved by those words. Do not prostitute this.
Moved.
Yeah, like seeing the contrasts in all kinds of ways that I and other people do, like, or have prostituted themselves, and how that happens, and like making really clear that this is sacred. And it has, oh, it has me connect with like priestess work on a deeper level, or like feeling into that. That's what it feels related to. And also like how important that is. There's like a clarity there that's very important on when we're doing that and when we're not doing that. And that it can be damaging when we prostitute ourselves or practices, and that it's serving and holy and sacred and supportive when we don't. And I guess where it moves me again almost to tears is that I've just seen the prostituting of all kinds of things, people from so closely, and experienced the damage of that in my being. So I think it's easy for me to know the difference. I have a slight doubt when I say it's easy for me to know the difference. It still asks like an awareness. And maybe also a willingness to point things out, because I think the ways people prostitute themselves or don't honor themselves, or like, I think it's quite widespread. And when we talk about this high standard, we need to be willing to point it out. What's happening for you, Forrest?
There's something happening for me of like when I'm sitting and knowing and looking at Forrest and Emma and Deborah, I'm like, wow, Forrest has just been like sitting here dropping bars, like saying all this shit, and he hasn't even started yet. Like he has so much to give and so much to share. And it's like, I feel like he's shared the most he's ever shared on this call. And it's like, there's not even 5%. Like, it's just like, there's so fucking much in there that wants to come out. Um,
What's that like for you?
I mean, his body is vibrating. Like, he's just like, I'm looking at, I mean, are you asking for you like from wholeness or for Forrest or?
For
Wholeness,
Forrest,
wholeness to me like is all of us. Like it's the same being experiencing itself through these different people.
I'm not sure why my curiosity is drawn to what it's like for Forrest to be sharing so much, and then also seeing that it's like not even 5%.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, I need support. I need support getting this out. I need audiences. I need, like, he's really learning how to ask for what he needs. And he's also like, hey, y'all, like, there's no limit to what's possible here. And if we can get a few things in place, there are going to be some, like, it's just like we are at the point. We are at the point of like a few things clicking and having them in place in a way that this will just blaze a powerfully, like a powerful trail through consciousness, like pioneer a new luminary path through consciousness. And it's just like, let's go, let's fucking go. And I look at Forrest and he is just so ready. Like he is so fucking ready. It's crazy. He's not afraid. I don't see an ounce of fear in him. He's just like, fuck it, let's go. And he has this thing he wants to say to you too, which is like, hey y'all, like Forrest feels like you both need to hear, number one, please stop playing small. Like, please meet me in this bigness. I'm not inviting you into this for no reason. Like, we know this is for you. So, and we know this is what you want deep down. So let yourself have it. Number one. And number two, please understand on a very deep level that by saying yes to this and opening up to this, that you are going to be like above or beyond or past or something with your peers. That can be really hard sometimes. But there will truly be all these people who are looking at you going, wait the fuck, what? Like 2 years ago, you and I were the same, and now you're this person. What the fuck happened? and you're not going to feel met by them, and they're going to be confused by you, and it's just something that goes on, that you outgrow your peers. And the people who were in egalitarian relationships are not anymore because you outgrow them. And something about that feels like it needs to click and to land.
Oh,
Yeah, I love it. I'm fully in. And that piece about being alone and in the kind of like with peers or with people, I find that hard at times. And it's funny because part of me is like, oh, maybe not. Like, like let's just not do it so I can hang out with the others. And I'm like, yeah, I'm past that. I've been past that for like I felt this like 10 years ago. It's just like, but it's also touching to feel that, like just in my heart, that human need to connect with peers, which is part of why we're here, right? And I'm sure you guys are not up to date with my voice notes yet, but I think it's a big point to sell also and to offer what we have to offer to people, that people deeply need community and peers and powerful people to hang out with, be inspired, reflect things back, drop into the field as we're doing now, like all of that. That's something we offer, and that's, I almost want to say invaluable. It's worth so much. Having that is a big reason, I think, why people don't bring their offerings and themselves into the world. They don't have community, or not the right peers. And I actually feel a lot of joy and excitement saying this now. Like building community, like proper community, is something that's so close to my heart. I'm still here and listening and just getting the charger from my battery.
ah, there's something landing in a new way around what you just said, the second thing, Forrest, of like, yeah, not being like that I'm gonna be above and beyond my peers. It's almost like it hits me in the way of like, oh, that's already the case, and I'm not admitting it, and I shrink for connection, and I felt this already over 10 years. Yeah, I don't know, and there's it really touches me. Something like, I think it's grief also, admitting that. Yeah.
I have a story, there's a reflection that one of you could give me right now that would be really, like in this moment, it feels like my entire body, like I just see so much light in my body, is like emanating light. And there's something that I feel like, Deborah, that you could say in this moment that would be really like,
Yeah, I feel like letting you know, Forrest, that you need, we need your light. We need what you're offering. Not optional. It's not, while it's a lot of fun, it's not for fun simultaneously. It's deeply needed. I think that's also why we're here, why me and Emma are here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at this point, it's so powerful, I can't hold it in anymore. I'm gonna get sick if I don't share it. I'm like literally gonna get ill.
My attention is with your legs and your pelvis.
I mean, when I'm coming from wholeness and I see Forrest and Deborah and Emma, I see Forrest as literally a being of light right now. Like he's just like made out of light. And he's still, it's almost like being a baby, like it's almost like sun hitting skin for the first time or something. There's just this quality of like, fuck, like I've never done this before. Like this is like a whole new thing. Kind of just this like, whoa, like
What have you never done, Forrest?
been an embodied, like a human embodied being of light at 100%. Like this fucking human being has teed itself up to like, what the fuck? It's like there's Forrest and he's 32 years old and he's put himself in position to just be like an embodied transmission of God for the next 100 years. It's just like, oh no, like what? Oh God, what have I done?
You had your eyes closed for quite some time now. I'm covering them.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm coming from being and holding Forrest, so it feels like with my eyes open, I feel like I go into Forrest more, and with my eyes closed, I feel like I come out of Forrest more and hold him. And I'm really with I've been present to like how I can be in vivacious awareness and not address the insecurities. And it sort of helps me to close my eyes and drop deeper into like what doesn't feel safe, what doesn't feel secure, what feels whatever. But it helps me really drop in and go like this is the uncertainty or the thing that would help me feel more grounded.
I really need to pee. So I'm gonna be back in a minute.
I also need to go in a little bit.
Word.
I so love we recorded this.
We did record this, didn't we?
This is great. Did you just say I